Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and thank you for spending some time with me today because in this video, we are talking about designing your dream forever home. And no, I don't mean like, let's design your home for the retirement community. I mean, timeless, beautiful design that will last you forever. And one of the things I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life doing in my home is taking care of a bunch of high maintenance stuff. So that's the first thing we have to talk about. Using materials that are not high maintenance. And that means like so many different things. And there's always a handful of things in your house that you are just willing to sacrifice for. For me, it's crystal chandelier because I don't know what to tell you, like that just matches my personality and vibe. But what I'm not gonna do in my home ever is use something that is high maintenance, like a textured flooring material, right? I love those cleaning videos you see online of people scrubbing their floors and it's like, you're like, oh wow, I didn't even know it was so filthy. Not my house. I don't want that. So a floor with texture is going to collect dirt and catch that stuff. And I don't want that involved in my life because of the things I'm not gonna do for the rest of my life. Being on my hands and knees scrubbing the floor is not one of them. So these are things I want you to avoid. Of course, in any home. And I've said this before, like a textured backsplash in your kitchen, like you're cooking it up, you're whipping up a meal for the family, for the kids, and for your friends. No, I'm not scrubbing a backsplash that's filthy and disgusting and dirty because it's textured and got grease and pasta sauce and all of the other things on it. I don't like that, and you're not gonna wanna spend the rest of your life doing that either. So no matter what your style is, no matter what your age is, or your house, whatever, don't use a bunch of textured materials in the actual finished surfaces in your home. You want things that are a little bit smoother. They can have, like a matte finish to them, a tile floor. That way it has a little bit of traction. You're not gonna slip and slide on it if it's wet, but I don't want something that is textured that's gonna get a bunch of dirt in it because I'm not taking care of that, and I don't think you should either. Now, another thing you wanna look out for are some of those like aging in place type things. And I know you might not be at that point, okay? A lot of people are like, I want this to be my first home and I'm gonna live here forever, and that's cool. But like, you do need to think about what's gonna happen down the line. And for me, the biggest obstacle in aging in place design is really flooring height, because when you have a change in flooring height, like, let's say this room is carpeted and that room is tile and the tile is a little higher than the carpet, like that's really tough, that's difficult. Number one, because if you're wearing like a thick pair of shoes, like a heavy soled boot, like, it's like the fall, winter season, you want to serve a little look or something, you're just going to trip over it right there. I know I would. So I don't want that in my house. But at the same time, if you're a little older and you have to use a wheelchair or a walker, or you just break your leg, I don't know, and you have to use one of those little stroller wheelie things, that's really hard to get over because it's a very substantial change in flooring height. Even if it's a quarter of an inch, that's a lot when it comes to the flooring because you don't realize the momentum you need to roll over something like that. There's a couple of ways you can get around that. The easiest is to use one type of flooring everywhere in your home, or most areas in your home, right? So something solid surface is what I would recommend because that's easier to take care of and clean, less maintenance than carpet, for example. Using that everywhere, you're not gonna have any change in flooring height because it's the same thing everywhere. But if you are building or you really wanna have different materials, like you wanna have tile in the bathrooms and kitchen, that's something that requires a little bit of pre-planning. You may have to have the floor, like the subfloor level, screeded, raised, or lowered to accommodate that. So it is perfectly flush and level. And don't let anybody tell you it's not possible because it's always possible. They just don't wanna do the work. But maybe that's my opinion. Another place you can do this that really makes a big difference is actually in a shower, like a zero threshold shower. Now, that's not possible for everyone to do everywhere, but if you can, I recommend looking into it. Those are things to plan for long term, but most importantly, the flooring height in your homes should be level everywhere, regardless of the type of flooring you're using. Now, what's also dangerous when it comes to design is not having a plan in place and not getting some great feedback so you can avoid design mistakes. And because I don't want that for you. What I want for you is to work with a designer who gets it like me. You could always book a one-on-one virtual consultation with me using the link in the description box down below, or by going to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. You can show me around your home. You can ask me any questions. You can show me a floor plan. You can show me materials, and I can give you my feedback on them. So be sure you head down there, use the link in the description box, and I will see you over there. Now, while this video is not all about aging in place requirements or things that you should have, there are a handful of things you should be looking out for just to keep yourself, safe. And if you want to be in your house forever, right? This forever home. These are things you want to look for. And that's a really good floor plan. That could mean a whole bunch of stuff too. Number one is door widths. A lot of builders are going to use more narrow doors because they're more affordable, because they actually kind of let you have bigger spaces and rooms that people like. So maybe everybody doesn't need a 36-inch door, but if you're planning on living in your home forever, you never know what you're going to need. So having a wider door on all of the internal doors is really important to have. So bear that in mind. Like, look out for it when you're home shopping, when you're looking at floor plans. Those are things to consider. Something else is just the floor plan in general. Can you get through there? What do the pathways look like? Something open concept gives us more versatility when it comes to where we're putting pathways in a home than something that's like a modified or a closed concept home. And a home that is open concept tends to look bigger than one that's closed concept. So you kind of get that feeling of space for not actually having to pay for all of that space, which I love. Those are things to look out for. You know, how much turning radius is in a bathroom? If you find yourself in a wheelchair, you're going to need a little bit of that. So can we accommodate that? How big is the bedroom? Are you going to be able to have a clear access pathway through that space? Look out for those things, because that's what really keeps people out of their homes or forces them to move somewhere else down the line, because their house just isn't able to accommodate their needs in the long term. One of the things you could look for is a single-story home. You know, for me, I like a staircase, like a banister to decorate for the holidays and all of that. But, you know, if you're thinking about being somewhere long-term, maybe you want a one-story home that you feel more comfortable in because you'll never have to worry about going up and down the stairs. That's something else to look out for. I think it goes without saying, but I will say it, that if we're talking about a forever home, we're talking about forever. We want materials that are going to last us. So I always recommend getting the highest quality material possible. With that said, you have to remember, the most expensive thing doesn't tend to be the highest quality thing. It tends to be the most luxurious thing. So it doesn't mean you have to spend a lot more money to get that really good high quality finish and material. It just means you have to be mindful and thoughtful about it and make sure you're getting a good value out of whatever it is you're choosing. For example, carpet, wall-to-wall carpet. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but what I always recommend is a carpet that's a lower pile with an upgraded pad. Well, a lot of people are like, yeah, but that's, you know, the interior designer take, that's more expensive. Actually, lower pile carpet tends to be cheaper than higher pile carpet, or it's the same price. It's just shaved down a little bit. So that doesn't really cost more. It's just a detail that's higher quality. And that's what you need to be looking out for in every material you choose. You know, whether that's flooring, I'm going to recommend tile, engineered, or hardwood, because tile, I've seen a lot of houses where I don't like the tile, where I think the tile needs to be taken up because it doesn't look good. But I don't usually see a lot of houses where the tile is destroyed or damaged beyond repair. Tile has lasted for thousands of years, so that's a very high quality material to use. Engineered hardwood floors, they tend to have a lot of research in them and, you know, really high-end finishes on them that last a long time, and that's good. Same thing goes for solid wood. Like a solid wood floor, it's a lot cheaper to refinish a floor than it is to install a new one. Another big one that's a trend right now. People love marble or the marble look. Okay, that's great, beautiful, love it. If you ask me what the highest quality countertop material is, marble doesn't make the list. Okay, it's good, it's beautiful, I love it. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you not to do it, but I'm gonna say if you want high quality, go for granite. Like, granite's great, granite's beautiful. Granite does not usually get a lot of damage to it, and it can be repaired as well. So those are all things you want to think about. Getting the highest quality possible, not necessarily the most expensive, is going to last you the longest. That's like just facts, that's a given. So be sure you're thinking about, like, this is pretty, it's beautiful, I love it, it feels so soft. Will it last? Is it going to last you long enough? Because then down the line, we're redoing it, we're redoing it, we're redoing it. What's the point? Like, eventually you're gonna settle on what is gonna last you the longest because you get tired of taking care of it. You may as well go for it now. Now, regardless of what materials you decide to use in your home, you need some really good style advice and design opinions, and that's what you get here on this channel. It costs absolutely nothing to hit that subscribe button and join us and become a part of our LeChic family. If you are new here, I would so greatly appreciate you hitting subscribe and joining us and sharing with me in the comment section down below so I can personally welcome you to our LeChic community, our family here. So please join us, and I would greatly appreciate it if everyone watching could give this video a like. When we talk about forever and we talk about high quality, we're not just speaking about like, you know, the floors and the countertops. We're talking about everything. I want the highest quality I can get for everything in your home. And sometimes that means we have to be smart about what we're talking about here, right? Like not everything is going to last forever, and that's okay. But I want to get the longest life out of everything. So when I'm looking at furniture pieces, I tend to do two things. I like to mix old and new, right? Like you all know this about me because I think older pieces just tend to be better quality and better built, but newer pieces tend to be easier to get and source. So I want a little bit of both. If I'm gonna go old on a piece of furniture, like an antique or a vintage, I wanna do something that is easy to take care of, easy to clean. I want like stone, wood, those sorts of things. So I'm looking for tables, side tables, chests of drawers. That's a really good accent point to bring into your home, like a beautiful chest of drawers somewhere. Love that. That's a really great staple point to bring in. But when I am looking for upholstery and I'm doing new upholstery, I'm gonna look for one of two things. I either want something slip covered or I want a performance fabric. And the reason I want these two things is because they just last longer. Performance fabrics are usually, you know, they're kind of like engineered. It's like a science project, right? So they last forever. Like dirt does not penetrate into the fibers, and slip covered furniture tends to be more accessible, more affordable. And the good thing about that is you can replace the slip covers. So if you're like, hey, you know, I have kids now and they're gonna grow up and they're gonna have kids and then my grandkids are gonna be here, like getting a slip covered piece of furniture is great because you can take them off and wash them. You can replace those slip covers. It just makes sure something lasts longer. And when an upholstered piece of furniture goes bad or is no longer usable, it doesn't tend to be the actual structure of the piece or the frame of it or even the springs. It tends to be the fabric that goes first. That's something really good to bring into your space. So you get a mix of that high and low, you get a mix of really good quality and things that maybe are a little bit more delicate, but they're really beautiful and they're worth the sacrifice to take care of. That high and low quality makes the difference in a space. Now, when we're talking about quality, we don't just want to go with things that are brand new, things that, you know, have been newly designed, right? We want a timeless sense of design in a space. And that really depends on what is timeless for you personally. A lot of clients I work with will get rid of everything. Okay, they'll just get rid of everything and move and they won't bring anything with them. And then down the line, they regret it a little bit because everything is new. They don't really have a lot of memories associated with everything. And they kind of miss that. So if you're in that position and you're like, I'm moving, I'm gonna get my forever home, be thoughtful about what you're bringing with you, right? Don't just say like, I don't want to do anything. I want to start from scratch completely. Maybe there's some things that have a lot of memories associated with them. One of my clients, she said, Garrett, I don't care what we do, but we can't get rid of this dining table. Like my kids grew up around this table. I helped them with their homework. They did art projects on it. I don't want to let it go. And that was a footprint we used to build off of for her style and for her home. And it turned out beautifully and you would never know because it just made sense. Those are things I want you to look out for and just keep in mind when you're decorating. And then the other side of timeless design is what is going to last forever? What are you gonna like forever? And what's going to just make you happy? You're not gonna wanna change down the line. So I'm not gonna choose really crazy and wild colors because I want things that are timeless and I don't wanna have to repaint the walls all the time. Like maybe we swap around some artwork or we move the furniture arrangement around so it feels new, but I don't wanna have to repaint everything. That's a big endeavor, it's really expensive, and not everybody wants to do that. So choosing timeless finishes also really matters, whether it's the flooring, the wall color, you know, like I said, work with a designer if you like granite countertops, right? It doesn't all have to be that like dated, speckled, you know, builder grade mess. There's a lot of variations out there that really look really good. So those are things you need to be considering and choosing what is going to work best in the long term, what you'll always like and be timeless, because we don't want to have to redo everything. I don't want to spend the rest of my life redecorating well, let me not say that. I don't want to spend the rest of my life not liking my home and trying to constantly get it to be something that I do. I want to like it now and I want it to be something that's timeless. So that's why you see a lot of homes that are like whites and creams and light colors and soft greens and blues. Those are colors that people just like long term. So be sure you're embracing and looking for that in your home, whether it is in the style of furniture or in the colors you're choosing. go for a timeless backdrop, and then we can layer in and have a lot of fun with some of the accessories, decor, rugs, furniture pieces, artwork, those sorts of things is where we can infuse a little bit more personality because they don't have to last forever. We want really high quality, really timeless finishes in your home so it can be your forever home and you will love it forever. When we talk about forever home design, we want it to last and be timeless forever. So be sure you don't make any of these renovation fails that are just gonna ruin the whole thing and you'll regret forever. Be sure you check out that video right over here and I will see you over there.